Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. And yes, what a beautiful day, of course, right? And anyway, I hope you're getting out in nature and don't be so hard on yourself. Please, you do yourself a favor and everyone else. So anyway, besides that, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus, you could give my videos a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't forget, you can leave me a message down below, beep, 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 and you could share my videos with your family, your friends. A camel and a lion. Roar. Plus, you could check out my playlist, and you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus, you can also, for those of you who are interested in doing this, you could send Starlight extra love, and I know a lot of you would love to, and you can do that, and that is on my Cash App, and I will have the information here. Ping! There it is. And you can, if you haven't already, you can download that Cash App, and that way you can send extra love to Starlight. Plus, not only you can do that, is I appreciate all of you out there, and thank you for all of you who are new to my YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. And some of you I've met. I might have talked to you today throughout the week. So yeah, some of you I've met recently. Thank you for being here for me, loving and supporting Starlight. Thank you for all of you who have been here. Yeah, you've been here before I even started my YouTube channel. You've been here since I started Facebook. I mean, before I started my YouTube channel and I started making videos on Facebook. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. And all of you who have joined me from the beginning through the middle and all the way till now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some of you recently I've met right in person. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you for all of you who like my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel, send me a message, or even share my videos. Don't be afraid to say hi, hello, come on, hello. See, that's a part of letting go of fear. What's holding you back? And I know I went through that in the beginning, and after a while, I finally did. I sent somebody a message because I was so new to YouTube. And you know what? After I did it, it wasn't that bad, So a lot of times we make things bigger than what they really are, and that is not what today's video about. But anyway, now to start this video is, what do you do when you start your morning? Some of you are like, I wake up and I get ready for work. Some of you might be like, oh, I wake up and I got to get the kids going to school. Some of you might not even wake up. It might even be noontime by the time you wake up. But how do you start your day off? How do you start your day? Is it, worrying about what happened yesterday and complaining about, the way your life is, complaining about the job that you might be going to, that morning, complaining about, the way the kids are, or the way your husband or wife is, and not being grateful for everything that you do have? So that is what is so important. Think of all what is going right and be grateful for everything. How about your protection? How about the safety? How about the food that you got to eat? Where did you sleep? Some people sleep outside. So how do you start your day off? Complaining? Woe is me? We need to start our morning off right, but that means you got to go to bed in the right way. So think about how you go to bed and how do you wake up. Tomorrow, guess what? You can make a difference. You can turn that around and say, thank you. I woke up this morning. And So yes, you woke up, and that, I'll tell you what, every morning, I almost do this every morning, so I can't say every morning, but almost every morning, I go get my hot water at a gas station somewhere to get ready to go to McDonald's, and you know what? Somebody will normally ask me, "How you doing?" Well, hey, I woke up this morning. And I wake up I am like, Starlight's full of energy most of the time when she wakes up. I am full of life. There was a man the other day who was dancing in the morning to music. And I'm like, wow, look at this. It's awesome. So how do you wake up? How do you start your day? There's people out there, they don't even have to know anything about you. You wear it all over your face. Your frown is upside down. Are you being grateful for really all the things that are going right? So, there's people out there, they put a mask on, and covering up that everything is good, but it's not. How did you go to bed last night? Like I said, how did you go to bed last night? And in the Bible, it's so important. Don't go to bed angry. That is so vitally important. You know, that's why we always have to check with God, check with ourselves, see how we're doing. Be honest with yourself. Be real. Be raw. Be raw and real about really what is going on. It's okay. I want you to feel what you're going through. I used to, cover that up. I used to have a hard time, I did used to wear a mask, I was going through a lot. Holy shit. Talk about a lot. You too, huh? Yeah. You know what it's like? Because you got all that baggage. And what are you doing? You're carrying it with you. How are you going to feel good if you're carrying all that baggage? You got to let it go. Hey, I got my backpack right here. So yeah, this backpack actually normally would look fuller than this. But you got this big backpack on, and every day you're carrying all your problems everywhere you go, and there's some of you out there that when people see you, they don't want to be around you. You know why? It's how you look. What kind of energy are you putting out? Because you're not dealing with your stuff. You're not dealing with it. You're not fixing the problem. And so that problem stays with you, just like this backpack, is that you got to give it over to God. You got to ask God. And that is what I've been doing. I've been praying more and more every day. And guess what? Things are getting easier for me now. Because you know what? I decided I can't do it on my own. I need help. And I need to take this off so then, God can take care of that, I don't need to carry that with me every day. Some of you are, going through some shit. I know it. I don't even have to know you. It's written all over your face. Your body language. Your energy. See it a mile away. And when people see that, a lot of people don't want to be around that. They're like, there's something up there. That person's got some problems, but that shouldn't be an everyday thing. You gotta love who you are, number one. You gotta learn to accept who you are. And a lot of times people have I know how this goes because I've been in a lot of, God, I had to go through a lot of things. That way I'm more of a help to you now, because I've gone through so much. So I know what it's like worrying about stuff all the time, 24/7, right? Worrying about shit 24/7. Not liking where you are. But then afraid to complain about anything because you're afraid nobody gives a shit anyway, right? You're afraid that nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear what I'm going through. Nobody would understand, right? Everybody's got their own problems, their own shit that they're dealing with. But you know what? There are people out there that really do care. But you got to love yourself first. You got to accept yourself first and all those things that you're carrying, you gotta let it go. That's why you can't carry that stuff every day with you. You know, the worrying all the time of how, you know, what's going to happen in your future. You got to stay in the present moment right now. And it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. I had to have sticky notes all in my apartment. I got stuff I got to do with my car right now. I'm going to put more positive, you know, little quotes or little things in my car, like stay in the now, keep trusting in the process. That's how I really did. I had to have that all in my apartment. You would not believe my apartment. If you wanted to go to a happy place, when I had my apartment, you would have felt really happy and peaceful there because the energy was that real. It was a positive place to be. It was a beautiful place, lots of colors, stars, hearts, butterflies all over my apartment. And at nighttime it glowed. Of course, I had a lot of friends in my apartment, but it was a very positive energy in my apartment. It had all this positivity all over. And I actually had kids, and they're like, wow. They're like, wow, look at all the positivity in here. They loved it. They love that. You know what? Animals love that. You have to love yourself and start being grateful about what you have right now. How's your health? There's times people out there, they think they got it so bad. They're living in the past. They got a mask on. They're not being real. They're not being real with themselves or other people. And you know what? Most people can tell. They're like, they're not being honest with me. How can you be honest with me when you can't even be honest with yourself? You got to be honest with yourself first. How you doing? I'm doing okay. Hey, you're doing okay. At least you're being honest. You know, I don't like when I hear I'm doing fine, because that doesn't say you're doing, you know, does that say you're doing good? It's okay to be honest. And, you know, I've had to do this. I had to say, Starlight, it's okay to say exactly how you feel today. But society taught us not to do that. They taught us, don't tell anybody how you really feel, Starlight. Why? Because nobody gives a shit. They got their own problems. Don't believe all that stuff. Yes, people do have their own stuff that they're going through. But you're going to find people out there like Starlight and other people out in the world that really do, really care. And they want to help you out. But by saying that everything's good when the energy is bad, when the energy is low, when the frequency is low, and you want to say, you know, you got to be honest with yourself. That's getting to the core of the problem, is being honest and being real. But it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Do you have hot water? Do you get to take a shower at your place? Do you have a bed to lay on? Do you have an apartment or house? A bicycle? You know? Food? Do you got food every day? There's a lot of people, they live in fear all the time. They're living in fear. They're not trusting in the process. They're believing where they are is where they're going to stay. They don't see a way out. They see that they're stuck. Those are all programs that you got to break those cycles of programs, because throughout our life we repeat a lot of those programs and repeat. Believe me, I know. How about, you know, lack and not ever having enough? But you got to be grateful for what you have now. Are you grateful for having hot water? I live in my car, and I am so grateful I have a vehicle. And I'm so grateful when I go into a public bathroom and there's hot water. You ought to see Starlight. There's hot water. I'm grateful because right in this area, I get to take a shower 3 times out of a week. Don't worry, those are not the 3 times I only clean up, okay? At least my hair is good for the whole time, but I do gotta freshen up in other places. But I'm grateful when there's hot water. I can put my hands and wipe my face. I'm grateful that I didn't wake up this morning crawling out of my bed into a wheelchair. Do you know what that's like? I worked with handicapped people. You know what that did? That made me grateful about my body. That made me grateful that I can wake up and, I can get in the car and drive. I am grateful because I can have a relationship with a man. There's people that can't even do that. They live every day and they will never have a relationship with any person in their life. Maybe they're just their parents and their friends and, supporters out there. You got to look at how good you have it. Look at what's going on out of the country. There's people that are just, you're keeping yourself low. You got to wake up and have a grateful attitude in the morning. Be grateful that you woke up today. Some of you, I know what it's like. I was a person at one time that wasn't grateful that I woke up the next morning because I didn't even want to be here. Some of you might be out there like that, not even wanting to be here, but you're here. I know what that's like. But you know what? I'm so grateful that God protected me and kept me safe from my own self, that I'm able to experience what I'm experiencing now. I couldn't say that before, years ago. I couldn't say that. No way. I didn't want to be here. I was hoping the aliens would come and take me home. I didn't want to live another day. I didn't want to wake up the next morning. I wasn't even looking forward to going to bed because I knew that it would be, waking up to another morning. So I know I hear a lot of people saying, hey, be grateful that you woke up today, but not everybody wants to be here because they see that their problems are bigger than themselves. But that's a mindset. See, I had to go through that myself. I had to go through the pain of it to understand it, to be able to help other people through that. Not everybody wants to wake up the next day. That's why there's people that turn to drugs and alcohol. You got to appreciate who you are and what you have, and that, because if you're negative about everything, you're just going to bring more negativity in your life, and all that you're going to draw the wrong kind of people in your life when that low vibration is there. You can't, you can't go out there and fake it. People see it. It's so obvious, but you don't see it. You got to appreciate everything and say, when's the last time you said thank you to God and you really meant it? See, when we don't do that, God will put us through some shit. Do you know what it's like? On your hands and knees and being grateful and saying thank you. Do you know what it's like crying because you received food or you received gas money to be able to get in your car and go somewhere? Do you know what it's like to beg for food, not knowing if you're going to get it? That's why I went on this. God put me through this. I had to go through those things to be grateful for. I was grateful before I got in this situation, but this is a whole different level of being grateful what God has put me through. Some of you might have watched a video a long time ago where Starlight was going to actually take food out of a garbage can to eat it, because my faith was not strong at that point in my life. I wasn't there yet. So some of you might have forgot about that crazy ass video that I put out, Would you do that, Have you ever seen a homeless person reach in a garbage can and grabbing pizza that somebody else chewed on? I have. Be grateful. You gotta be grateful and say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you so much. Think about how great you have it and look around and see the other people. Look at what other people are going through. Homeless people in the middle of the street, in the middle of the road with a wheelchair, begging for money to have food. That isn't you, right? It might be you. There's always something to be grateful for. And, stop having a pity party. I've been to those. Nobody wants to come. So I love you so much. This is Starlight. You got to love yourself. You got to be honest. And I love you. This is Starlight. You can give this video a thumbs up. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you could share my videos with your family, your friends. How about a homeless person that's out there struggling? And also, you could check out my playlist and find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight or on Facebook, and that's Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. I love you all. If you think it's bad right now, and that's where you're keeping yourself low, you got all that stuff that you're carrying, it's only going to get worse. You got to let it go and you got to give it to God. I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.